6'11" Nikola Jovic is one of the most talented international players in this year's NBA draft. He is from Serbia, he likes to play the point forward position and has guard skills offensively. It does sound intriguing, and I know the comparison to another Nikola might pop in your head immediately, but this Serbian talent is different. Post-ups aren't the first choice in his repertoire, and we can't compare Jokic's court vision with almost anyone in the world. But projected to go between 15th and 25th pick in the draft, Nikola Jovic can become one of the steals in this draft. Let's analyze his upside and what kind of a role he would fit in.
Kuruc, na kraju sam ostao Jovic iz desnoga kuta, Nikola Jovic.
How many 6'11", 19-year-old guys could do that? Jovic enjoys pushing the pace after getting defensive rebounds, occasionally going coast to coast. Transition is his most used play type offensively, and he's super solid in it. Excellent speed combined with great ball handling abilities allows him to maneuver between the defenders effortlessly, and sometimes he doesn't bother shooting threes in transition as well. Since transition usage and the number of early shots in the NBA is growing each year, I think Jovic will fit in perfectly from the start, giving the team that chooses him a big player who can rebound and push the ball up front. According to Instat, he scored 1.1 points per transition this year, which is quite good. However, in transition you could start to see the first improvement areas for Nikola. He is an average finisher around the rim for someone his size, and that's because he sometimes prefers to avoid contact near the rim. That's also a theme on his drives in pick and roll situations. He rarely stops on 2 feet inside the paint, and sometimes it results in tougher shots. It would be ideal for his effectiveness if he could add more 2 feet jump stops in the paint like this one, as it would give Jovic more options whenever he doesn't have a clear advantage over the defender. On pick and rolls, he already knows how to gain that advantage by manipulating defenses how he wants. Here, Olympia forces him to his weak left hand, but he smartly pulls back in order to play the pick higher, which later allows him to use the snake move to get back to his preferred right hand and make the floater. On a pick and roll in transition, he simply hides behind the big man, changing directions and keeping his man under until he arrives close enough to shoot the three-pointer. Against high drop and a trailing defender, he uses a veteran type move of bumping the opponent with the shoulder and then stepping back for the mid-range. That's that free-level scoring threat upside he has, and it's really impressive. But what made NBA scouts fully fall in love with the Serbian is the skill he showed in ISO situations. Standing at 6'11", Jovic doesn't have too many problems creating space for his own shot, already showing off a diverse bag of dribble combos combined with elite footwork. There aren't many bigs who could hold their ground against this combination even in the NBA. Yes, Jovic lacks elite athleticism and first step for the NBA level, but it's not a big problem as he can just rise over pretty much any defender. We saw glimpses of NBA range and NBA level confidence during this season, as this shot is just ridiculous. He sometimes takes too much time to get into the action after switches and lacks consistency finishing after great moves, exactly like in this ISO situation against one of the best on-ball defenders in Europe, Nikola Kalinic. But the scouts and GMs see the separation he can offer at elite size. The consistency should come with hard work. Just as he struggled with the contact in the paint, the Serbian talent could tighten up his dribble when guarded aggressively. He lost quite a few basketballs this season when being pressured high up the court, and it showed in Wing's turnover rate, where he averaged 2.6 in 26 minutes of playing time. Obviously, for someone who is 19 years old and was the first creator/scorer on the team, this ratio is not that bad, but Jovic should also improve protecting the ball better, especially when posting up. He's not your usual big, as his game is mainly from perimeter, but whenever he tried to post up smaller guards, he wasn't that much effective. Opponents slapped way too many balls from him, and he couldn't convert the size advantage into points with ease. Jovic was the most effective on catch-and-shoot opportunities, scoring 1.34 points per possession on those. The mechanics are nice, and although the release is not the fastest one, that's where his size comes in handy. Sometimes he can wait, explore opportunities to pass inside before rising up without no dribble over the defender.
Obje ekipi se malo ustavili u napadu. Jovic bo poskušao s trojkom in trojka Nikole Jovića.
The NBA range is also there, as he tried to make it evidently clear throughout the season, waiting for kickouts way behind the European line and stretching the floor insanely well. It's still hard to say which position he will be used in the NBA, but the teams for sure will have to respect Jovic's ability to shoot from the beginning. That's what makes Nikola a potential steal. He isn't the fastest one, but he sure can dribble past you if you close out too hard. He loves to attack left first on these catches, and he doesn't have problem finishing, especially if he has the defender on his side and not in front, as opposed to when he's driving on pick and roll or isolations. The next two clips are simply a cherry on top. The pass doesn't create much separation on the fly, and he is neutral after the first dribble, but look at what the 19-year-old can do with the ball. First, a behind the back to completely lose the defender and a nice finish, and then an inside between the legs into a step back three. Oh, and that's not all. He can read the game and create for others as well. And he can do it in various situations. In transition, I'm sure he will be a huge weapon since he can dribble, give great outlet passes or recognize teammates running in front and put them in ideal situations to score. On pick and rolls, Nikola's height helps to read the help defenses, resulting in wide open three-pointers for others. On defensive breakdowns like here, he evaluates the passing moment as well, leaving teammates only a small chance of missing. He also showed the ability to read in crowded and not designed situations, whether he is rejecting the screen or simply driving after a kick-out pass. He was able to find open guys even with 2 or 3 people around, and that's an encouraging sign coming to the NBA, where you must be able to make split-second decisions or else the advantage is gone. The biggest question mark and a worry about Nikola's game lies on the defensive side. Which position can he guard in the NBA? Or maybe where his liabilities would be exposed the least. At this moment, he is not quick enough laterally to stay in front guards in Europe, and is probably not going to get better overseas. In help and recover situations, he rarely affects the closeout drives, making the shooter put the ball on the floor, but almost never closing the first step. Sometimes it comes from wrong positioning like here, where Jovic defends the guy in front like he is a right-hander while it's the opposite. One thing's for sure, contesting shooters on spot-ups should be his strength, but that's not enough, because if he is put up against bigger forwards, I'm not sure about the probabilities of him dealing with it alone. With all that being said, Jovic possesses the skill and talent to become a second or third option offensively in the near future. In my eyes, he would complement perfectly with a scoring guard, giving additional options to create off the dribble against bigger guys. He can initiate the offense in fast break, stretch the floor, he can attack on the catch, and he is a smart pick and roll player that has the intelligence to involve the others in favorable spots. He will have to figure it out on the defensive end, but in the middle of the first round, he could become one of the steals of the 2022 NBA draft. What are your expectations for Nikola in the NBA? In which team would you love to see him? Type in a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.